Good evening. At this time, call the, it's February already, isn't it? February 2020 Fairfield School District Board meeting to order. We have received proper public notification. I do note the presence of a quorum. So at this time, Chair will entertain a motion to enter executive session. I think the only thing we have is personnel. Is that correct?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion we enter executive session for personnel matters, provided I get a second.
I second.
Thank you. It's been motioned by Ms. Harrison. It's been seconded by Pastor Jackson to enter executive session to discuss personnel matters. All those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. I believe that is 6-0 if I can do math, and it's so nice to be able to look down the table again. So we will enter executive session not to exceed 6:30, but I don't think it's going to take that long, y'all, so don't go too far.
Yeah.
I know I had to cancel before. I don't need them, I gotta go get them.
All right, looks like everybody's made it back down to the executive board room. At this time, Chair will entertain a motion to exit executive session.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we exit executive session.
Thank you.
Chair, I second.
Thank you. It's been motioned by Ms. Harrison. It's been seconded by Pastor Jackson to exit executive session. All those in favor of exiting executive session indicate by raising your right hand. That is 7-0. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you all for being here this evening on this nice rainy evening. You know, it just hadn't rained in so long. I'm so glad to see it. At this time, I'll turn it over to the Secretary for our Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence.
Let us all stand for the pledge of allegiance in a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance.
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence, please. Thank you.
That was the best audience participation we've ever had on the pledge. Thank you. This time, Chair will entertain a motion regarding the approval of this evening's agenda.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
The motion by Ms. Harris has been seconded by Mr. Miller to approve the agenda. Any questions, issues, concerns on the agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving this evening's agenda indicate by raising your right hand. I believe that is 7-0. Thank you. Public comment?
None.
No public comment. We're down to presentations and recognition.
Okay.
Good evening. Chairman Frick, members of the board, Superintendent Green, and our community. Tonight, we would like to recognize the 2020 state level Beta Club winners. A representative from each of our schools, Fairfield Elementary, Geeker Elementary, McCory Liston, Kelly Miller, Fairfield Middle School, and Fairfield Central High School will come forward to recognize their students this evening. We will begin first with Fairfield Elementary School.
Good evening. We would first like to recognize our jury elementary division. 5th place winner is Tony James. Our drawing elementary division 4th place, it's Xavier Barbosa Gomez. And Xavier, come stand right over here. For science, the assessment exam, 5th place is a 4th grader, Cecilia Sanders. Our 3-dimensional design elementary, we won 4th place. We have a Miracle Brown and Sanaya Standard. And for our performing arts elementary, we won 2nd place. We have Zariah Yarborough, Shamari Mosey, Carissa McKinney, Talia Brown, and Jemiah Bryant. Let's give our students another round of applause. And I have with me tonight Ms. B, my co-sponsor.
Give him another round of applause. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Before we go any further, you know, this is not Winsboro going against, I would say, Blair. We're talking about the top students in the state. Some of these kids came in 4th place, 5th place. And we're talking about in the state now. Yes, sir. We ain't talking about around the corner. It's 5,000 students down there. We're down there seeing students everywhere. And our kids, and we owe it to them. Clap our hands for them, and they deserve it. Parents, I know you're proud of them. Y'all should be proud of them.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Our next school is Giger Elementary. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm so excited and proud to stand before you to recognize our students. I have to say this is the 8th consecutive year that we've come back with with awards, and so I just really it's a true testament to all of the hard work of our staff because it is truly a team effort for the Beta Club. I'd like to recognize our students at this point in black and white photography. Placing 5th is Miss Carolyn Stevenson. In our robotics division, this was for our elementary division. We placed 5th. We have Mr. Brandon Adams. Next, we have Mr. Robert Brown. Next, we have Mr. Marquavius Boyd. Next, we have Miss Ashlyn Pinkney. Next, we have Miss Layla James. Next, we have Miss Nikia Davis. The next award I'd like to recognize is our portfolio, which is the scrapbook. They changed the name of it. And Miss Zoe Cameron. Miss Carolyn Stevens again, which I've already given her a certificate. Miss Faith Jones. And last but not least, in the middle school division, for 6th grade, Mr. Jalen Thomas in ELA placed 3rd on the ELA test. And I think Mr. Brandon Adams from our robotics has gotten here. Let me see. And last but not least, I want to recognize our sponsors. I have Ms. DeWandre York here and Ms. Rosalind Harrison, but I also may have some teachers. As I said, it's a team effort, so if Ms. York and Ms. Harrison will come up, but also if any staff who are here would come up who help support.
Y'all get behind? You better see the chicks.
We can't.
Kelly Miller Elementary.
Good evening. We would like to recognize our Kelly Miller students who did an outstanding job at the convention in Myrtle Beach. We have Apparel Design Elementary Division, second place, Tamia Evans, Taylor Johnson, Mallory Gibbs. Technology Elementary Division, third place, Markel Belton and Maurice Wiley. Speech Junior Division, third place, Ethan Jasmine. Robotics Elementary Division, third place, Jamison Boyd, Cooper Broom, Kylie Curley, Wyatt Chappelle, Chantella Johnson, Olivia Peak, Adonis Robertson. Robotics Junior Division, third place, Dayana Caldwell, Kaya Chappelle, Jaden Davis, Ethan Jasmine, and Ethan Jones. Service Learning Elementary Division, fourth place, Jamison Boyd, Cooper Broom, Wyatt Chappelle, Mallory Gibbs. Social Studies, fourth grade, fourth place, Wyatt Chappelle.
Go Wyatt!
Once again, I'd like to thank these students. I also like to thank Ms. Thompson, who is part of our committee, and Ms. Woodard also thanks you and congratulates you.
Come on, teacher.
What I tell you,
McCory Liston School of Technology.
All right.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It is always with an honor that I stand before you to say how proud I am of all of the students, but especially the students at McCory Liston School of Technology. So I'm here as always to say we always aim high, fly high, and achieve high, and these boys and girls have definitely done that at the Junior Beta Club. We have several students that we're going to recognize, and students, as we call your name, or as I call your name, I'm going to ask that you please come forward. For mixed media, second place, we have Gabrielle Ashford for the elementary division. Second place in the speech division in elementary division is Jordan Kennard. We have fifth place in the technology division for elementary. We have Mason Nellums and Landon Morgan. We also have third place in the junior division with technology. We have Joshua Richards. Fifth place in the elementary division, the junior division for ELA, we also have again Joshua Richards. He's not here with us today, but we want to say congratulations. Fourth place in the elementary division for marketing and communication, we have Mason Nellums, Blees Small, and Gabrielle Ashford. And I see he's rocking that Advent Beta shirt, so thank you. Also, our last one, we have Michaela Jefferson, fifth place in the two-dimensional design, and that's for the banner design. Congratulations to our students. I want to say one more thing. I want to just acknowledge our beta sponsors. We have Ms. Leisha Miller and Marissa Davis who work with our boys and girls. But I also want to recognize the parents for allowing us to work with your boys and girls after school. So if we have any parents or guardians who've been instrumental in that, we ask that you stand so we can recognize you as well. Come on, parents, don't be shy. It's your time to shine as well. Thank you so much.
Fairfield Middle School.
Good evening. I bring you greetings from Fairfield Middle School. My name is Mrs. McElrath. This is Mrs. Yarborough and Mrs. Scott. We have a couple of kids to recognize. Thank you. First off, we have for Performing Arts Junior Division third place, Alvin Wilson. For three-dimensional design fifth place, Micaiah Jennings and William Dawkins. And last but not least, we had 3 dancers receive a golden ticket invitation, which is a special invitation to join dancers at the national level and participate in a special dance. Wow. That is Tiana Turner, Renaya Loud, and Kinsley Green. Thank you.
Give them a round of applause.
Fairfield Central High School.
Is that the Griffins? Oh, yeah. I hear something.
Try to be dignified.
Man, we're gonna get loose up in here.
We are just honored and pleasure to be here, to be able to recognize all of our senior Griffins, because we're all Griffins here in the district, and we just want to say what a wonderful job our kids have done at the senior division at Myrtle Beach. Each year, they keep surprising me, and they keep just pushing it to the limit. And this year, last year I said we had won the most we ever won last year. And Lord, they did it again. This year we won the most we ever won ever. So, we actually placed in 13 divisions. So, yeah. Here we go. I'm going to do the individual awards first, and then I'm going to do our group awards. So, in social studies, for first place in Division 1, we have Joshua Mosley. I just want to say again, he got first place in the whole state. I also want to say this is his second year doing that. He did it last year. All right. Because you know, Bill, I like to brag a lot. Okay, so for our Spanish division, hola, yeah. And our ninth grade division for first place is Caroline Solis. Third place in 10th grade is Kelly Ventimilla. And then for 11th grade is her big brother, Paul Ventimilla. He took second place. And then before I get into this next division, I just want to actually really point out and shout out our art sponsor. I call her the art sponsor because she does everything that is art, and I cannot draw at all. So she gets all the credit for working with these kids, and that's Miss Sierra Cyrus, but I don't think she's here tonight, but I just want to give her a shout out. In third place for on-site drawing in Division 1 was Elena Frick. Second place in Division 2 for woodworking is Lizette Solis. Second place in Division 2 for jewelry is Amira Lucas. Second place in Division 2 for mixed media is LaDallas P. Second place for sculpture in Division 1 is Joshua Mosley. First place in fiber arts Division 2 is Shalisha Jackson. Is she here? No. All right, let's get over to our group presentations now. This was our first time actually competing in this event, which was marketing and communications, and we took third place. Is Kayra Rice, Tequila Cooper, Jacia Green, and Jemiah Kennedy. That's fine. We just gonna give him Jacia's because he's here. You just take that with you. For robotics, this is our fourth time actually competing in robotics, and we have placed every single year. So for robotics, we took third place this year. It's Paul Ventimilla, Sammy Robinson, Devani Patil, Swazir Belton, Faith Abel, and Saeed Kumar. Yes, they're all at spring sports. Or work. They old now, they gotta work. All right, and then last but not least is our award-winning show choir. We are still second in the nation as before we go to nationals, and we took first at the state this year. Okay. Colin Gatson, Deasia Jones, Jamaria Edmonds. Yeah, he can sing too. Joshua Mosley, Kaylee Goff, Kenya Davis, Kiara Matthews, Martia Gadsden, Victoria Lightfoot. She at work right now because I know I just got some song before I came here. She's in the drive-thru. And then, and I saved these kids last for my show choir because they are my seniors, and they have been with show choir since, a lot of them since freshman year. They have been the backbone of show choir. I can't speak enough about these kids. I am beyond proud. I'm like a proud, as I call them, Mama Bear. So just want to bring them up. Alyssa Boyd, Kayla Pickett, Kayla Robinson, Malik Coleman, Nathaniel Adams, Sade Mathis, Sheldon Johnson, Sherwin Davis, and Tiana Foster. I don't ever do this alone. I have a wonderful team, not just in my administration, but in my fellow sponsors. Like I've already said, Sierra Cyrus is over the art. Miss Thomas is over the show choir because I cannot sing a lick and it would be bad if I tried to. Crystal Whitaker and Sir Davis, who would be here, but he just had a baby last week, so he couldn't come. Wife said no. And so just thank you for your support, parents. I know. Oh, did I say Nathaniel Adams? Oh, and y'all know last year Nathaniel Adams not only represented Fairfield as he represented us as the state president of Beta Club over the whole state. And this year he did something that had not been done before by officers. He went to the board and said, you know I'm competing next year too, right? While I'm presiding over the state convention, I'm also going to compete. And they looked at him and said, are you sure? He said, oh yeah, in Nate fashion, I got this. And he did that. So we are just always proud of him for representing not just us, but the state. And as we continue to show what we have here in Fairfield, because people continue to undermine us and we continue to shine above them and we continue to push forward. I just thank you for your support, for my parents who I send stuff out the last minute and I beg your kids come in on Sunday and they just bring them, they drop them off and they like, here Taylor, you can have them. I thank you for your support. I thank you for all that you do for us and what you do for them. So thank you so very much.
Oh, Sheldon's here.
Mr. Chair, wait a minute, young people. I want us to congratulate all of you. And from my understanding, Mr. Freak, the dancers learned that dance in a week. And they took the golden ticket. So congratulations to all.
All right, as usual, I see everybody has hung around for the exciting part of the evening. Move into, sure, absolutely.
Chairman, members of the board, first of all, it is always an exciting time, even though the room is cleared out, for us to recognize all of the outstanding accomplishments of the young people of our community. Each and every year, they go down and compete in this Beta Club convention, and each and every year they continue to impress us with their knowledge, with their talents, with their work ethic, their perseverance, always representing Fairfield County in fine fashion. You know, it surprises people when you recognize that we've had the state Beta Club president, I think, 2 of the last 3 years. All right. So 2 of the last 3 years, the state Beta Club president, which is elected by their peers all across the state of South Carolina, came from Fairfield Central High School. I don't know if you will find any other school that has had 2 state Beta Club presidents in 3 years. I'll go out on a limb and say that's probably something that you won't find anywhere. And so I want to publicly acknowledge that. Sometimes we talk about a lot of things, but don't talk about those kinds of things. And so I want to recognize our young people for doing an outstanding job. Also, the individuals who placed first, second, or third qualified to compete at the National Beta Convention, which will be held in Fort Worth, Texas this year. And I can assure you that we are making arrangements for our young people to compete at the national competition as well. The opportunity, the exposure, all of those things are simply priceless. And so for those who sometimes question whether our young people are worth that investment, I say absolutely, positively. That is exactly the kinds of things that our district should support. And so it gives me so much elation to be able to witness the outstanding things and also to support them as they continue to move further. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc.
And on that stirring note, the board will entertain a motion regarding board minutes from the last meeting.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion we accept the board minutes from the regular call board meeting, January 21st, 2020.
Mr. Chair, second.
Thank you. It's been motioned by Ms. Harrison. It's been seconded by Pastor Jackson to approve the board minutes from the January 21st, 2020 meeting. Any additions, subtractions, questions, concerns on board minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the board minutes indicate by raising your right hand. I think that's 6 negative, abstention, 1 abstention. Thank you, ma'am. Superintendent's report.
I'll be brief, Mr. Chair. I want to just recognize I had an opportunity to travel down to Woodruff, South Carolina on last night. The Lady Griffin basketball team was competing in the state playoffs. I tell you, they fought hard. It was a very hard-fought game. Actually, I'm a good friend of the superintendent there, Dr. Liston, and so it was it's a good, friendly competition. When I walked in the door, I told him, we're going to put a whipping on y'all, Riley. He said, now that we can help. And so it was all in good spirit and fun, but I think we ended up, it was a nip and tuck game. We were up by 1 at halftime, and then they made a run and we made a run, but we came up a little bit short. But it was an excellent season by Coach Miller and the young ladies. And we have such a young team. You know, we had kids out there playing varsity in 7th grade. In 8th grade, I mean, and so we have some youth. The future is very bright for those young ladies, but they fought hard, and we want to recognize all of their efforts this season. So let's give the Lady Griffin basketball team a round of applause. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. At this time, we'll move on to curriculum and instruction.
Good evening. For your approval, for first reading, is the 2020-2021 proposed academic calendar. That is a mouthful. And before you import docs, you see a draft of a proposed calendar. The calendar was developed in collaboration with a calendar committee composed of members of the Fairfield County School District, composed of district staff, school level staff, and we even got some parent input by posting a link on our district's website. So parents had an opportunity to preview the calendar and offer their feedback. And also, members of our teacher forum, composed of our teachers of the year from each respective school, had the opportunity to review our proposed calendar. If you look carefully at the calendar, you'll notice that the first day for students to begin, of course, is August the 17th, and the last day is June the 4th of 2021. And also I want to bring to your attention is that we elected this year, based on the feedback that we received from our stakeholders, we decided that we wanted to do something a little bit different with the calendar, in the fact that we are going to finish the first semester by Christmas break, which will allow our students to have the opportunity to take their exams before Christmas break. In the feedback, we realized that many of our teachers felt that it was difficult for our students to go home and enjoy the holidays and then come back and have an opportunity to take those exams. So we wanted to go ahead and conclude the exams before Christmas break, and then in addition to that, our second semester will begin when the students return back from Christmas break. So that is one change that I wanted to make note of today as you approve this calendar for first reading.
Chairman Frick, so I appreciate the hard work of Dr. Avery, teacher forum, parents, all who have provided some input into the calendar. We're having to make some, what I would call some adjustments to the calendar that we otherwise would not want to make, okay? And part of the reason is we are still being held hostage, for lack of a better word, to the state mandate that school cannot start before the 3rd week in August, all right? It is our desire that the General Assembly approve legislation that allows schools to start based on the wishes of their local community, and not necessarily based on some state requirement. Currently, that's being discussed as a part of the bill S-419, I think. An amendment was approved that would provide us the opportunity to start earlier than the 3rd week. There is still some debate and resistance to that. I'll tell you that it primarily comes from Horry County because they want people to vacation longer, they say, which will impact state revenues. But you know, they can start when they like, but I think we should be able to start when we like as well. Some of the things I think you need to recognize with the approval of this calendar does a couple of things. Number one, in order for us to finish exams before Christmas and start 3rd week in August, we had to shorten the first semester. So generally speaking, first semester may be 90 days, second semester may be 90 days to make up the 180 days. I think based on this calendar, if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Avery, first semester is 84 days.
It's an 84-96 split.
Yeah, so it's an 84-96 split. Okay, So there are more days in the second semester than there are in the first semester. We had some conversations primarily with Ms. Willie and high school teachers because obviously that impacts the number of instructional days, particularly on a block schedule as you head into inter-course exams. And so we recognize that those teachers who teach an inter-course subject during the first semester may, if this is approved, have 6 less instructional days. All right. Second semester will have, I guess, 6 more instructional days. The other thing that I was surprised teachers were excited about is that Christmas break doesn't begin until January 23rd. And where we would generally get out a little earlier, obviously the priority of finishing exams before the Christmas break, they felt it was worth it even if we had to get out a little later. That's something that's being discussed in the General Assembly as well as we talk about wanting to finish exams before we go home for Christmas break. And there are so many advantages to that. I'll just share a couple of those. Number one, for our young people who may want to enter college early after the first semester and being early entry to college, if we can get them finished up first semester, that helps that transition. In addition to students that are taking dual credit courses, it puts us more in line with what higher ed is doing. And so there are many benefits to finishing during the Christmas break. So I appreciate the perspective of teachers and staff who say it is worth somewhat of a sacrifice, if you will, in order for us to finish during the first semester. But I wanted you to go in fully understanding some of the sacrifices that had to be made and what we are giving up as a function of making that happen. Any questions?
Well, let's get a motion on the floor before we get questions on that. That was a good explanation on everything. At this time, Chair entertain a motion regarding approval of the next year's calendar. I'm not even going to try to say that, Dr. I'll let the person who makes the motion say it.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion we accept the superintendent recommendation to approve the first reading of the 2020-2021 academic calendar.
Thank you, ma'am. That's it. See, it's easy if you second it. It's been motioned by Ms. Harrison, it's been seconded by Mr. Davis to approve first reading of the 2020-2021 academic calendar. Any questions on that?
Yeah, Dr. Green, I was wondering, I was wondering, did we take any, did we look at Thanksgiving holidays? Maybe see where we're going to be out a week, maybe shorten, taking a couple of days off that, and that would maybe give us 86 days in 94. Did y'all work? Tell me the conversation about that, because I'm kind of curious.
Well, that discussion did take place,
Okay.
and I will tell you that in the feedback, many of the staff, along with the teachers, enjoy having the that week off for Thanksgiving. And I would say that because we do have, several teachers that are international teachers. This would give them an opportunity to still continue to travel home if they wanted to for Thanksgiving and then turn back around and come back for the Christmas holidays. So we did talk about that, but we recognize too with the feedback, as Dr. Green stated, we had some give or take. So we recognize that if we were to take out the that date or that full week, that would give us 2 additional days. But then on top of that, that also would eliminate a makeup day that we already have built in during that week. And so you because once you move one thing, that's going to shift something else within the calendar, if that makes sense.
I just wanted to know.
And one other thing, Mr. Miller, if I could, Dr. Avery hit on something that is almost impossible to predict, and that is inclement weather. So, even as we develop a calendar, we understand that primarily most of the inclement weather days generally occur in the fall. And so we have no idea whether we're going to get an ice storm, a snowstorm, a hurricane, or whatever the case may be. History history pretty much suggests that we'll get something, but how severe remains to be seen. So, you know, that's also something that we have in the back of our minds, Mr. Miller, is what kind of inclement weather days do we get, and do we have to give up anything else? Okay, but excellent.
So if inclement weather would come, then we would take some away from the Thanksgiving holidays. That's what you're saying?
So there are inclement weather days built into the calendar as well.
Okay.
But even with inclement weather days built in the calendar, you may have more inclement weather days than are built in the calendar. And so, for example, if we built 3 days in the first semester, I don't know what it was up top there, but let's say we built 3 days in the first semester, what if we ended up having to be out for a week? What is your contingency plan there? And so, even with inclement weather days, we have to be prepared to be flexible, just depending on what the circumstances are.
With the days that we have to be in school for a total of the year, I guess that doesn't really much affect the elementary schools, but in the high schools, as far as they're making, having their credits, how does that affect that if they're short days? Do they have to be in classes for so many days for that semester?
Yeah, so that's actually a question, Ms. Altman. State law requires that you're in class 120 hours to constitute awarding credit. We are well above the 180 to 120 hours required.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, hearing no further questions, we'll move to the vote on first reading of the academic calendar. All those in favor of approving the first reading of the 2020-2021 calendar indicate by raising your right hand. So it's 7-0. Thank you.
Second item for curriculum and instruction is the approval of the locally designed elective courses. And under our state board regulation, the Board of Trustees for each school district must approve the locally designed elective courses. And these courses are designed to help prepare our students for high stakes testing, for example, all EOC courses. So students have an opportunity to take a preparatory class before they actually take the course to aid them in being successful on the end of the course test. There were no changes based on what has been submitted to you in the past. So this is for your approval.
This time, Chair, I entertain a motion regarding the locally designed elective courses.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion that we approve the locally designed elective courses for the 2020-2021 school year.
Thank you, ma'am.
Chair, second.
Thank you. It's been motioned by Ms. Harrison. It's been seconded by Pastor Jackson to approve the locally designed elective courses for the next academic school year. Any questions, issues, concerns on that? Hearing none. Yes, ma'am.
Is this the one that's taken in some elementary schools and some not?
Not sure.
Why are some elementary schools doing something and the other ones not?
One of the schools mentioned, and I'm assuming you were referring to Fairfield Elementary School, we have placed there a special program called Read 180. And so that's a specially designed program that we currently have at Fairfield Elementary School.
So it's already there, so that's why we're not adding it, is that what you're saying?
Correct, it's already there.
Okay, and all the other schools are now adding it?
No,
The elementary school?
the other elementary schools are not adding that specific Read 180 program.
Ms. Hartman, so let me speak to that. So Read 180 is a literacy intervention program that we implemented on last year, really about mid-part last year. And so we've implemented it at Fairfield Elementary School, Fairfield Middle School, and now the high school. Quite honestly, we are evaluating the success of those programs. I think ultimately, if we review it and see that it has produced some results, then we'll probably look to expand it at other elementary schools. Even though it is a program that has been around for a while, before we make an investment district-wide, we want to ensure that it is worth the investment. As to why we started at the elementary school, we simply evaluated literacy development across the district and recognized that Fairfield Elementary School would be a good school to pilot that at the elementary level. And so it's currently there, not that it will only be there, but we want to evaluate the success of it before we start branching out to other elementary schools.
That was a class that you said you were putting in place to see how it went to
Yeah.
increase
Yeah.
different testing. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the locally designed courses for the upcoming academic school year, I'm not going to say it. Anyway. Indicate by raising your right hand. 7-0. I had a hard enough time saying that. Operations and finance.
Good evening. In the board report under operations and finance, you have the January finance report for board review.
Anybody have any questions, Mr. Robinson, about the January financial statement? Hearing none. Going forward.
And the second item is a facility usage request. And the superintendent recommends the board approve facility usage request with waiver of fees for the Blair Coalition of Churches use of McCrory-Liston School of Technology on March 21st, 2020.
Chair will entertain a motion on that.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair, I want to accept the superintendent recommendation for the uses request waiver for the McCrory-Liston School for the Blair Coalition of Churches used at McCrory-Liston School of Technology on March 21st, 2020. Provided I get a second.
Thank you, sir.
I second.
The motion by Mr. Miller has been seconded by Ms. Harrison to approve the facility usage with fee waiver for McCrory-Liston for the Blair Coalition of Churches on March 21st, 2020. Any questions, issues, concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. I believe that's 7-0. Thank you.
And the next item is a facility usage request for Fairfield Central High School. The superintendent recommends the board approve the facility usage request with waiver of fees for the Office of Veteran Affairs use of Fairfield Central High School on February 22nd, 2020.
Thank you, Chair. Entertain a motion in regard to that request.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion, we accept the superintendent recommendation to approve the facility use request with waiver fees for the Office of Veteran Affairs use of Fairfield Central High School on February 22nd, 2020.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. It's been motioned by Ms. Harris. It's been seconded by Mr. Miller to approve facility usage of Fairfield Central High School and waiver of fee Veterans Fairs for February 22nd, 2020. Any questions, issues, concerns on that one? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. I think it's 7-0. Thank you. Human Resource.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. For your consideration this evening under Human Resources, Item 1, the superintendent recommends the board approve resignations and terminations for professional certified staff members. This is being presented to you in Exhibits 1A and 1B. 1B requires a special motion.
Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion regarding to professional certified resignation and termination in Exhibit 1A.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we accept the superintendent recommendation to approve resignation and terminations for certified educators in Exhibit 1A.
Chair, I second.
Thank you. It's been motioned by Ms. Harrison. It's been seconded by Pastor Jackson to approve certified resignation terminations in Exhibit 1A. It is personnel, no discussion. All those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. It's 7-0. Thank you. Chair will now entertain a motion in regard to Exhibit 1B.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I move that we formal a complaint be sent on behalf of the Board of the State Board of Education requesting that appropriate action be taken against a professional employee of Fairfield County School District, employee number 1, whom pursuant to South Carolina Code and notated section 59-25-230, breached their individual employment contract with the district by failing to return to work.
Mr. Chair, I second that motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Ms. Harrison and it's been seconded by Pastor Jackson to send a formal complaint to the Board of Education as stated by Ms. Harrison in her motion. It is not up for discussion. This is a personnel matter. All those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. 7-0, thank you. And I think that gets us down to board chair. I think everybody's got their packet. Of course, we're going to the annual conference tomorrow. Look forward to seeing everybody down there. Be careful. I think it's supposed to rain as we drive down, if I saw correctly. If you haven't done it, remember the ethics forum has got to be done by March. And
30th or 31st, right?
so yeah, I think it's the end of March. That's what I remember. Do it before then, if you can. Anything else for the good of the cause? If not, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I've got one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Can the public see anything in the side pocket at the bottom?
I don't see a lock on any of that, so I think it is open.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Anybody want to go home? Stay?
Yeah, make a motion, we go home, adjourn.
It's been moved by Ms. Harrison, it's been seconded by Pastor Jackson. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you all very much.
Aye.
You're welcome. Dr. Green, I'm one of the,
All right, bro.